For any research, the first and the most critical step is to identify, define, and explain the research problem. That is what the researcher wants to answer and what research problem he or she wants to address. And we all know that a research problem, it can be described as an area of concern. It can be a hole in the established knowledge or standard that points to the necessity to further understanding and study. And for today's lesson vlog, pag-uusapan natin ang second part ng ating chapter 1, which is statement of the problem. Hello my dear students! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me once again, Teacher Tin, your research teacher for today. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Research 2. In our previous lesson vlog, diniscuss natin kung paano magsulat ng background of the study. And that is the first part of your chapter 1. Now, let's proceed to second part of our chapter 1, and that is the statement of the problem. Ano nga ba pag sinabi nating statement of the problem? Okay, when we say statement of the problem, para bang ito yung nagbibigay ng direction sa ating study? And if you're one of the students of STE program or the Science, Technology, and Engineering program, most of your research is scientific research. And sa SIP, and when we are writing the statement of the problem, we have to use the infinitive form of the verb, mostly in SIP. So mamaya ma-explain natin kung paano ba yan. And of course, when we say statement of the problem, it talks about the objectives of your study you want to attain. Kaya naman sa statement of the problem, of course, the very first guideline in formulating the statement of the problem is that the statement of the problem should be formulated first before conducting the research. Bakit po kailangan ito yung unahin natin? It will serve as our map. Di ba ang map? Bakit ba tayo merong map? It serves as our guide. It serves as our direction para alam natin yung daan kung saan tayo patungo. Okay, the statements of the problem is the objective. Kumbaga, before we start with our experiment or with our investigation, alam na natin kung ano yung direction na tatahakin natin. Meron na tayong goal. It's the goal, it's the aim, it's the objective. Iisa lang yan. The statement of the problem gives us direction to the researcher. Ayan, ulit-ulit ako. It's the direction. And of course, kaya ito yung unang ginagawa. Of course, the statement of the problem serves as the ultimate goal of the researcher. Okay. That is the first guideline. It should be formulated first. Okay, so for guideline number 2, before we proceed with guideline number 2, I want you to know that we have two main parts of the statement of the problem. Dalawa ang ating types ng statement of the problem. The first one, we have the general objective, and the second one is the specific objective. Ano yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa? At paano ginagawa ang general and specific objective? Okay, panoorin natin to.
Okay, our example is the utilization of mabolo, Jasperus blancoi, as an alternative source of ethanol. This is the title of the research of one of the students. Okay, now, their general objective is this one. The study was conducted to investigate the effectiveness of mabolo as an alternative source of ethanol. Okay, what have you noticed? Anong na-notice nyo dun sa title, which is utilization of mabolo as an alternative source of ethanol, and the objective? Di ba parang inulit lang? Parang ginawan lang natin ng some changes sa words, pero yun din yung tinutumbok. Okay, sa title, kita na agad natin na gagamit sila ng mabolo as an alternative source of ethanol. Ngayon, ang objective nila, general objective, the study was conducted to investigate the effectiveness of mabolo as an alternative source of ethanol. Okay, so ibig sabihin, number 2 guideline is the general objective is the reiteration of the title. It's just the reiteration. Kumbaga parang inulit lang natin yung mismong title. Doon sa title, nandun din yung mismong general objective natin.
Okay, so when we say general objective, this is the main objective. Okay? Ito yung main objective ninyo. Ano yung pinaka-main goal ninyo? And again, sabi natin, it's the reiteration of the title. Kumbaga parang inulit lang, nagkaroon lang tayo ng some changes dun sa construction ng words, but still, yun din yung tinutumbok natin. Okay? Para lang bang yung for example, pupunta ka ng mall, tapos, ano yung objective mo? Bakit ka pupunta ng mall? Let's say, for example, isa kang basketball player, and gusto mong bumili ng shoes. So, di ba pag tinanong ka, uy, saan ka punta? Mall. Bakit? Bili akong shoes. That's the main objective. Kung bakit ka pupunta ng mall. Kasi bibili ka ng sapatos. Ngayon, from that example ng ating main objective, the general objective, ano ang pwedeng specific objective niyan? So, when we say specific, it is more detailed about the project. So, ang goal mo is bumili ng shoes. Ano yung pwedeng specific objective dyan? Siyempre, hahanap ka ng size, color, brand, and yung price, i-consider mo. That's the specific objective kung bakit ka pupunta ng mall para bumili ng shoes. Ngayon, sa ating SIP, paano naman po gumawa ng specific objective? Ano yung rule number 3?
How do we express and write the specific objectives? Okay, this is the example. Specifically, this study sought, number 1, to identify the chemical components present in mabolo fruit. Second objective, to compare the effectiveness of mabolo fruit as an alternative source of ethanol to the control group in terms of flammability and volatility. And the third one, to test the significant difference between the effectiveness of mabolo fruit as an alternative source of ethanol to the control group in terms of flammability and volatility. Okay, paano sinulat ang specific objectives? Okay, take a look at this. To identify, to compare, to test. Nakita ba na magkakaparehas? Hindi, di ba? Magkakaiba sila. Okay, so kapag gagawa tayo ng specific objectives, it is customary to state the specific objectives in infinitive form of the verb. When we say infinitive form of the verb, we're going to use this one to identify, to compare, to test. That's the infinitive form of the verb. Now, specifically, this study sought to, pwede rin daw, what are the chemical components present in mabolo fruit? So, instead of saying to identify the chemical components present in mabolo fruit, ang ginawa naman dito is the use of this question, what, how is there? Pero of course, since tayo ay SIP, kailangan ang gamitin natin is the infinitive form of the verb. Yun nga kanina na sabi natin ay to identify, to compare, and to test. So, ito lang ipinapakita sa inyo ano pa yung ibang form ng statement of the problem. So, how effective is mabolo fruit as an alternative source of ethanol to the control group in terms of flammability and volatility? And the other one, is there a significant difference between the effectiveness of mabolo fruit as an alternative source of ethanol to the control group in terms of flammability? How about volatility? Now, what, how is there? Kita nyo ba na hindi siya naulit? Bago-bago siya. Ibig sabihin, meron tayong variation kung paano natin ito isusulat. So, it is customary to state the specific objectives in interrogative form. So, when we say interrogative form, in the form of question, kagaya nito na, what, how is there? Pero if it is infinitive form of the verb, yun yung kanina na to identify, to compare, to test. Okay. Now, okay, to specific, tingnan nyo naman ng example na to. Specifically, this study sought to determine the significant difference. So, ano ang meron dyan? Di ba ang pangit tingnan, ang pangit pakinggan kasi redundant na to determine. And then tapos naging to determine ulit. And then to determine na naman. So wag ganun kasi masyado tayong magiging monologue. Okay, let's say another example. What are the chemical components? What is the effectiveness? What is the significant difference? Ang pangit niyang tingnan at ang pangit niyang pakinggan. So kailangan i-avoid natin yung ganitong klase ng specific objectives na ulit-ulit. Okay, now, the fifth guidelines is these problems should not be monotonously presented using a single expression of the questions. So, wag single expression, wag tulad-tulad, masyadong monologue, masyadong monotone. Okay? So, dapat iba-iba. Now, where should we base the specific objectives? Paano ba tayo maghahanap ng specific objectives? Okay, so let's say for example, our topic is ethanol. Ngayon, nag-research ka, okay? Using the RRL, the Review of Related Literature, nag-search ka tungkol sa ethanol. Nakita mo si Kernel noong 2016. Sabi niya, ang ethanol daw ay flammable. It's one of the properties of ethanol. It's flammable. Okay? So, there's a flammability. And sabi naman ni Jackson dun sa study niya noong 2009, ang isa daw sa property din ng ethanol is it's volatile, okay? Volatility level niyan. Ano ang volatility at flammability? Okay, so pag naghahanap tayo ng specific objective, ang kailangan talaga natin dyan is magbasa para makita natin kung ano ba yung possible pa na pwede nating makuha dito sa ethanol. Okay, now, specific objectives must be based from review of related literature. That is the 6 guidelines. Hindi pwedeng iisipan mo lang at ikaw lang ang mag-iimbento ng mga ilalagay mo sa specific objectives. Kailangan magbabasa ka at kailangan meron tayong basis. Okay? Kaya nga, di ba nakalagay dito kanina yung citations, kanino galing tong flammability, sino nagsabi na merong properties ng pagiging flammable itong ethanol. It's from Kernel. And volatility naman, sabi naman to ni Jackson. So may basis tayo and it came from the review of related literature. So that is the importance of review of related literature. Now, so let's say for example, ethanol, ayan na nga si Kernel, flammability, and then Jackson, sabi niya volatility. Now, anong meron sa flammability at meron sa volatility? Okay, sa flammability, sabi ni Kernel, dun sa research niya about ethanol, nagre-range down ng 60 seconds na flammable yung ethanol. So, pag sinindihan mo yung isang ethanol with a certain amount, kaya niyang tumagal ng 60 seconds na siya ay nag-flame. How about kay Jackson? Sabi naman ni Jackson, when it comes to volatility, okay, it takes 35 seconds para okay, ano ba pag sabi nating volatility? Di ba when we say volatility, it's the ability of the substance to evaporate. So, meaning to say, yung ethanol na pinag-aralan naman ni Jackson, tumagal ng 35 seconds bago mag-evaporate yung ethanol. Okay, anong napansin nyo dito? 60 seconds, tapos 35 seconds. Anong meron sa kanila? Okay, that is one of the guidelines, again, for the specific objective. The variables must be measurable. So, dapat yung mga ilalagay natin sa specific objective natin, they are measurable. We have something to measure. Kagaya na lang ng flammability. Kagaya na nga lang nitong ating, flammability and volatility, which is 60 seconds and 35 seconds. So, there is something that we are measuring. Okay, now, let's see this. Specifically, this study sought to, number 1 is to identify the chemical components present in mabolo fruit. And the other one, yan. So, nakita na natin dito, it's the flammability and the volatility. Sinama na natin. And the other one is to test the significant difference between the effectiveness of mabolo fruit as an alternative source of ethanol to the control group in terms of, syempre, andun ulit si flammability and volatility. Okay, so specific objectives must include all measurable variables. Again, specific objectives must include all the measurable variables. Okay. And of course, number 9, it should be guided by the acronym SMART. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng SMART? Okay, SMART stands for S for specific, and we have M for measurable, A for achievable, R for realistic, and T for time-bound.
This is the end of our lesson vlog for today, which is the statement of the problem. Up next, we will be discussing the hypothesis, how to formulate hypothesis. Again, sa chapter 1, tapos na tayo sa background of the study, statement of the problem. Up next, hypothesis. I hope you learned something from this vlog, kahit konti. Thank you so much for watching this vlog. Thank you so much for listening. This is me once again, Teacher Tin, your research teacher for today's vlog. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Research 2. Bye!